How is it going? Welcome to a new vlog. I'm inside because I forgot to do the intro while I was in the parking lot. That's definitely better audio. But anyways, it is now the end of November since, I'm not doing my best with editing and got stuff going on too. Got the whole sponsorship with CoinPoker, so focusing on making content for that as well. But anyways, the goal is every other week. I'll try to get back on top of that. And last month was absolutely amazing. Best month I've ever had. Made like more than double than what I usually expect from a month. But this month, kind of evening out the variances because it hasn't been the best. I'm almost breaking even. So that's how it is. Some months you make a bunch, and others you make less. But let's try to end the month strong. Today is my Monday game. It's a semi-private game I set up. It's 2-5, match a stack with bomb pots every dealer change, and there's a pretty fun lineup today. So hopefully we have some fun, we run good. We will have fun. Hopefully we run good and get some fun hands, and hopefully run good in the bomb pots, because sometimes that's the most important part. And let's get right into it. Heading into the poker room. Our game starts at 6:15. That's nice since it's already set up. I got my seat guaranteed. My favorite one is number 7. I'm for $1,000. Since it is a semi-private game, we can mix up the rules. We have match a stack, and we all agreed to do the 7 deuce game. If you don't know what that is, if anybody wins with 7 deuce, the whole table has to pay money. We agreed to $15. So if I win, 8 players have to give me $15. That is a total of $120. Definitely pretty nice. So hopefully I get some bluffs through with that hand, or hey, maybe we get lucky, flop something strong, and actually go for value with it. And since this is a 2-5 game, we do bomb pots at the beginning of the game and every dealer change. So first hand will be a bomb pot, but with our 8 deuce jack ace, we just completely miss and let it go. I did want to do this vlog just for the 2-5 night game, but being transparent, I did play 1-3 for a couple hours and was down around $100. So hopefully things go a little better in the 2-5 streets. I got a hand now, King 8 suited, and under than 2 straddle is going on, so I'm gonna get $30 and get the low jack and under on the call. Flop is promising 5-7-3, so 2 over cards, backdoor straight draw, backdoor flush draw, pretty good. I got a strategy out of position, I check, so that is what I do. Checks around, turn is a 7. So not the best in a way that it pairs the board, but at least I have a flush draw now. So in under the gun bet $75. It's not the best calling with a flush draw on a paired board because you may be dead or some of your outs may not be live, but we both check to him, so he knows we probably are on the weaker side. We probably bet with our top pair, so I wouldn't be surprised if he'd be bluffing here a decent amount of time. Our king may even be good, and very likely if we hit our flush it is, so I do call. Other player folds. River is a 4. Now when he checks, having the flush draw is just not a good candidate to be bluffing with. And if he was betting for value, I just think he's checking a call here. So it just seems like a pretty horrible spot to be bluffing. So I do just check back. And we were good on the turn, but not on the river since he has 4 deuce of hearts. He had to open in a straight draw and hit a 4 on the river. That will be good. Let's move on to pocket 4s. Definitely fun set nighting, but not in early position. I let it go. 4 deuce off, 10-3 suited, King 8 suited, Jack 9 off. Time for another bomb pot, but not much going on for us yet with deuce 5-6-5. Just miss and let it go. 7-5 off, King 7 off. Now I got a pretty one. Ace Jack suited in the low jack. Under than 2 makes it $15. Good enough to 3-bet. I make it 50 and he calls. Flop Queen 5-6. So, missed, but at least I got a good amount of backdoors going on, and 3-bet pre-flop. They put out a small c-bet. I make it $30, and I see good news when he does let it go. Again, small pocket pairs. Pocket 5 is in early position. Let's be strict. Let it go. Queen 4 off, 8-3 off in the blinds. We chop it up. Queen 4 off, Jack 5 off, 10-6 off. Now we got 7 deuce. All right, let's do it. If I can win with this hand, it's $120, but let's not try to lose our whole stack with it. This is actually the first time I played a 7 deuce game before. I just never had it, so this is the first time I can actually try to win with it. Low jack makes it $15, so let's 3-bet. I make it 50. Cutoff calls. Now the button, a reg that plays the 5, 10, 20 game, so a pretty decent reg, makes it 100. And this was definitely a misclick because I know he just won't click it. He has proper 4-bet sizes. So I look at him and he looks like he realizes that he made a mistake. So this just seems like, he wanted to call, but he accidentally put out more chips. So now When it's back to the low jack, who calls? This, I mean, independent of the 7-deuce game, seems like the most amazing spot to just rip it all in because everyone seems so capped. Both the cutoff and button that call my 3-bet. Yeah, button did 4-bet, but that is obviously a misclick. If you would have wanted 4-bet, it would have been 200. Even the low jack, it's just really weird that he called the 4-bet, but again, he made it $100, so it's not that massive of a 4-bet. They're just so capped. If someone had a premium hand, they would have 4-bet themselves for real. Again, not that misclick. So there's so much dead money here right now. Plus, there's $120 if I get everybody fold. It seems like a dream spot with 7-deuce, so I just can't not try. Let's do it. I rip it all in for $860. It gets to the button who made it 100 and goes into the tank. And he says something that gets me a little nervous. He says maybe it was a good thing that he misclicked because it may have saved him some money. So his misclick was not he wanted to call. He actually wanted to 4-bet. So we actually are 5-bet ripping against a real 4-bet range. Oh shit. All right. Well, at least he doesn't seem happy. So thankfully got lucky and we didn't run into the top of his 4-bet range since, yeah, if he had aces or kings, he'd be snap calling here. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he's not happy with queens and maybe even finds a hero full with queens because I look super damn strong here. I don't think anyone's expecting me to pull this move with 7-deuce, honestly, since I do have a pretty tight image. And finally, after thinking a good amount of time, he lets it go. Let's go. I show the 7-deuce to everybody, and with all the money of this hand plus the $120 that everyone has to give me, we are up $193. Let's go, and let's move on. 4-3 off. Now I got another hand. Ace-4 suited, under gun 2. Shredder is going on, so I get $30. Get a small blind, under gun to call. Flop. 8-6 deuce. And yeah, what checks to me, this board, definitely not the best for me. Raising an early position, straddle lights his check, turns a queen, checks around, river to 5. Small blind bets $75, and yeah, I just let it go. 9-deuce off, ace-4 off, 3-deuce off, 10-4 suited, another bomb pop, but not much going on. 5-ace-3-8 does not connect, so I let it go. Hopefully get something going on with the bomb pots because I do think they're amazing for the hourly because people overplay hands, but when you go card day with them, they do take a chunk of your hourly. Even if you don't lose any pots, it is $30 an hour, and that is a good chunk of hourly when you just have to be folding. And I got another hand, pocket 4s in the cutoff. Under the gun makes it $20. Hijack calls, I call, button calls, small blind calls, and we do not hit a set. So when someone bets, let it go. Time for another bomb pot. So yep, that was a whole half an hour. And once again, 4-ace-deuce-8, we miss and let it go. As I mentioned in the intro of this video, I am now working with CoinPoker that I'm super excited about. I love the site, and one of my goals when I started making content is I wanted to be part of poker sites, is working with them and getting sponsored. So definitely feeling super lucky and a lot of exciting things. Once a month, I will play $500 of tournament entries that I did a few weeks ago and didn't go very well. I made a reel out of that. If you want to play as well, you get 150% welcome bonus up to 2K with the code BABO. I'll leave the link in the description, and you support me because of course I benefit from people using it, and you know, I want to have this partnership for a long period of time, and more people use the link, more likely that will happen. So I'd highly appreciate the love. And now I've got a pretty hand, pocket 10s in a button. Low jack makes it $15, and yeah, usually it's just 3-bet, but in the button, I'm happy calling against earliest position. I'm happy with my 10, so I do call, and so does the big blind. Flop, queen, 9-8, so not the worst. This one overcard, and I get a gut shot, but it checks to me. I'm happy checking here, honestly. I don't think I need to turn my 10 into a bluff, and maybe a little too thin, so I do check back. Turn is a deuce. Checks to me again, and still seems a little too thin. Maybe on the river. I check back. River is a 6. Then a big blind bet's $40, folds to me, and yeah, after checking twice, I'm definitely not folding. I call, he says he has a straight draw, so I show, and he mucks. Another bomb pot, Queen, Jack, 10, King. That does not hit, so I let it go. Fun part of the bomb pots, you know, every single time it's another bomb pot, that means half an hour has gone by. So, yep, what's a few minutes here is a half an hour for me. Next hand is a pretty one. Ace, Queen off and under the gun. I make it $15. Under the gun 1 makes it 50. Under the gun 2 calls, big blind calls onto me. And yeah, offsuit, Ace, Queen. Early against early, I'm just folding. I think this is just a 4-bet as a bluff or a fold, but with 2 other cold callers in between, I mean, maybe I should be 4-betting more, try to just take it down here, but under again 1, he has never really been aggressive pre-flop, so in this position, it just looks super strong. So, hey, $35, a possibly 200, can't be bad to call, so I do that. Flop 3, deuce, king. I checks around, turn is a 3. And a big man bet's $55, and yeah, I just let it go. All right, well, this session has been super boring. Thankfully, that 7 deuce came out. I'm so bummed that the second 7 deuce, I didn't realize it, because that would have been fun 2 for 2. And I actually just folded around, so that would have been maybe another $120. Even if the big blind or small blind would have defended. But I wanted to try to win all of them. But yeah, the moment I kind of folded, I felt like if someone saw that, it's so obvious. But yeah, up a little bit thanks to that. Just a super boring session. And let's just keep it going. Poker sometime this too, so I don't mind some vlogs just being more like this. Just to show how poker really is. And yeah, little break. We got, watch out. A little over, it's about 9, so 2.5 hours, a little over 2.5 hours. So plenty of time to go, anything could happen. So just focus, feeling good, and keep the grind going. We banded a hijack, we got 6-3 off, king 7 suited, another bomb pop of jack 5, 6, 10, does not connect, so we just let it go. 8-3 suited, king 3 off, jack 7 off, not a small blind, ace 9 off. Under on limps, so I'm gonna get $25, and he calls. Flop is decent, 10-6 ace, so top pair, bet 9 kicker, and yeah, out of position, I check, he checks back, turn is an 8. And now, a lot of draws, and I think he's mostly betting his aces on the flop. Let's try to get value from the draws or non-believing 10s or any pair. I make it $55, and he snaps it to $155. What in the world? This was definitely weird because, for the most part, people will bet for value on a flop, maybe a little less on this board because there's not that many draws apart from some gut shots, but altogether, I just think it's more likely that he turned a set of 8s or just slow played something. So I do just let it go. And indeed, he lips over pocket 10s for flop middle sets. So, hey, at least we found a fold on the turn. Let's move on. King 3 off, jack 9 off, jack 3 off. Now, pocket 8s, under the gun 1. Under the gun makes it $15. And yeah, probably should not be flatting in this position. But folding pocket 8s is difficult. So I do call. And so does the low jack button and big blind flop. It comes 10 high, so when the low jack bets and someone calls, yep, I just let it go. We get called for a promotion, so we get the highest card. We get to pull out a mystery chip. That could be, doesn't really matter since I got a 6 of hearts and I do not win. 6-5 off, queen 3 off, and the small blind pocket deuces. Definitely would flat here, but there's a raise and a 3-bet, so I do let it go. 8-3 suited. Now I got a premium in the hijack pocket queens. I make it $15, cut off calls. Now the button makes it $65 onto me. And yeah, the button, he is the reg that plays bigger stakes. And I definitely think he's 3-betting me wide enough that pocket queens is definitely a 4-bet. So let's do it. I make it $260 onto him. And this time he lets it go. Another bomb pot, but again, 9 deuce, king 6 does not connect. So when we miss, we let it go. King 6 suited, 9-3 off, 6-5 off, jack 3 off, 5 deuce off, 10-8 off, jack 10 off, king deuce off. Now we're in the low jack with 7-8 suited. We get $15. Now small blind 3-bets to 50. And yeah, not going anywhere, especially getting a decent price. In position, I call flop. 4-4-7, so decent. So when he bets $20, I call. Turn is a king. Now he checks, and yep, no reason to bet here. Just happy trying to get the showdown. I check back where is a jack. He checks, I check, and we're no good since he did hit the river with his queen jack off. So now we know definitely small blind is 3-betting decently wide if he had queen jack off here, and he will take it down. Queen 7 suited, and now I got the best hand possible. Pocket aces in the big blind. Under than 1 makes it $20. Small blind calls. Let 3-bet. I make it 120. And under than 1 snap calls. This is the 5-10 reg. So let's go to a flop that is Jack, King 3. So yeah, definitely a little scary. There's a few hands. I mean, not that many. I think pocket kings is for the most part 4-betting. For sure, could have pocket jacks, king jacks. So not the worst. And here, out of position, I'm going to check. And he bets $175. So definitely a pretty big size. And of course, not going anywhere. I call. Turn is another king. Definitely not the best, since for sure, if he was betting for value in a flop, he could have plenty of kings that are now beating us. Now I check, and he rips it all in for $650. So definitely not loving it. But one thing that kept on coming to mind is that he snap called pre-flop. And honestly, I don't know how many hands are snap calling pre-flop. I think ace king is definitely considering 4-betting, is not going to call quickly, and we are blocking that. Even king queen off should probably just be folding. I don't know if he's calling king queen off, so that just leaves king queen suited. There's just 2 combos, and king jack is 2 combos as well. So maybe king 10 suited. Altogether, just not that many kings that I'm losing against. And there is a good amount of draws on this board. All the flush draws, there's straight draws. And just keep on going to the snap call pre-flop. This seems like a hand that's not even considering 4-betting. And that usually tends to be a lot of like suited connected hands that maybe aren't that often broadways that involve the king. So, you know, queen 10, 9-8, 9-10, 8-7. So, yep, against a player that I definitely think is capable of bluffing. I do flick in the call. We decided to run it twice. First river is a 4. Second river is a 5. And we see the beautiful news when he flips over 10-9 of spades. So, indeed, he had a flush draw with a gut shot. And thankfully, pocket aces was able to hold on both boards. And now we are up $900. So, definitely a very nice turnaround to a session that was pretty boring. Okay, so to keep it going, in the very next hand, I got pocket 6 in the small blind. Hijack makes it $15. I call, big blind calls, bunch of overcards. So when someone bets, I let it go. 9-5 suited, king 3 off. Let's try that again. Pocket 6 in the hijack, $15. But small blind makes it 75. And yeah, even a pretty massive size. I let it go. 4 deuce suited, another bomb pot, but once again 7-4 6 queen does not connect, so we let it go. Just a reminder, I'm always happy to talk about hands, so if you disagreed with something, you have any questions about any hand I played, make sure you leave that in the comment and I will definitely respond. And now I got a decent one, ace 9 suited under than 2, I made $15, get a small blind and big blind and call. Flop, queen jack 8, so decent, gut shot, backdoor flush draw, and an overcard. So it checks me, I bet $30. And we see the pretty good news when they both fold. 8 deuce off, king 10 off, ace deuce off. We chop it up in the blinds, and I got pocket 3s. Low jack makes it $15. Cut off calls, I call, and set money not working out since, yep, no 3 on the flop. So when someone bets, I let it go. King 4 off, 10-9 off, jack 6 off, 10-5 off. Bomb pot, king 9, 4, 10. Does not hit either board, so there goes another $15. King 10 off, 10-7 off, king 4 off, jack 4 off, king 7 off, jack 10 off. And I got a pretty one. King queen suited in the low jack, $15. Cut off calls on a big blind 3-bets to 60. And same player that 3-bet me earlier with queen jack off. So, I mean, maybe it's good enough to 4-bet. It seemed pretty in between. So I do flick in the call, and so does the other player. Flop, deuce, 5. So yeah, paid about $60. I just let it go. Next hand, pocket 3s, $15. Bunch of callers. We just missed. So when someone bets, we let it go. Once again, pocket 3s. So will this be the time? Under than 2 makes it $25. But then calls, I call. But again, our favorite number is not connecting with the board. So when we miss, no set, someone bets, we let it go. So set mining is just being a little expensive for sure. Let's move on. Ace 4 off, 10-7 off, 8-5 off, 10-3 off, ace queen off in the low jack, $15. Now the hijack 3-bets to 50. Big blind calls, and again on to me. And this is not a hand that I should be calling a 3-bet. It's just against the same player that 3-bet me earlier. That is the second time he 3-bets in this session altogether. So it just seems like a pretty strong range. So maybe I should 4-bet anyways. But if I'm not 4-betting, I know I should fold. But with the big blind calling in between, it's just a spot that I'm really not sure. Folding seemed a little too tight when there's the dead money in the big blind. So this time I do decide to flick in the call. Flop 9, 7, queen. So top pair queen kicker looking pretty good. When a hijack bets $50 onto me. Not going anywhere, but this is why, sometimes not loving calling with this hand pre-flop, since we could definitely be dominated. But of course now, not folding, I call. Turn is really nice. It's another ace. But when I check, it doesn't slow down. He bets $175. So my hand is really nice. But this player, I don't usually see him get out of line. But, I mean, I'm basically just losing against ace-king. I don't think he's ever 3-betting me with ace-9, ace-7. And I don't think he's 3-betting me with 9s and 7s either. So, yep, not going anywhere. I call. River is a 3. I check, and I see the pretty scary news when he rips it all in for $585. And now, yeah, even though I have trips, queen kicker, a really, really strong hand, I'm really not liking this. I'm just thinking, why did I not just be strict and fold or 4-bet pre-flop, as I know is the proper? I mean, maybe it's not, just with the changes and differences with the big blind involved. Like, who knows what's the pre-flop ranges when a big blind flat calls a 3-bet, since that definitely changes the situation. So yeah, but really not loving it here. But again, I think I'm only losing against ace-king here. I don't think he's 3-betting me that often with pocket 9s. Really don't think so. Pocket 7s, and definitely not ace-9, ace-7. And maybe because I'm vlogging, this is a guy that watches my content and just showed up. He visits once in a while, so maybe, he's coming into town, he watches the vlogs, he's just trying to bluff. Just seems like such an under bluff spot, so I really wanted to fold. But at the end of the day, my hand just seems too strong, so I do flick in the call. And yep, he flips over pocket 9s. Yeah, so definitely pretty frustrating when you do something you think you're not supposed to do. That is flat call, ace queen off pre-flop, and you lose a shit ton of money, since if I 4-bet him pre-flop, I definitely think he's folding. I mean, it would have just took the money down, but instead, now we are in the red, down $110, and this is very frustrating as well, because this month has been going very bad. So finally looking like we're having a promising session, and there it all goes, since now we are back in the red. Playing poker for a living can be really exhausting. One of the big reasons I'm working really hard with content and just other goals that I have that I'm working on, just different projects, because playing poker for a living is really tiring, especially when it's your main source of income, and especially with months like these when you're losing money. You're playing hours and hours. I play like between 120 160 hours a month. So imagine putting all those hours of work and coming home with nothing, or even losing money. It gets very, very frustrating. So for sure, if I could achieve my goal that I don't have to book a profit when I play poker, it will help a lot to make these days, these months, a lot easier to handle. But we're not there yet, so we'll just have to be tough. And time for another bomb pot. And this one, I'm going to play it. I got ace 5, jack 9. First board, 10, queen 3. So nut flush draw, definitely pretty good. And always nicer when you actually hit the other board too. I got 6, 9, 5. So 2 pair. Definitely nothing amazing since there's a straight on the board, but it changes so much. Just not calling with a draw, actually having something on the board as well. So an under the gun bets $100, low jack calls. Definitely not going anywhere. I call. Turn. One of the worst cards in the deck. It's a 10. And a little poke to make things annoying. The other board is a deuce of diamonds. So definitely would have been nice flipping those around, but it is what it is. This is, bomb pots have been frustrating, but thankfully, it checks around. So we see a free river that is an ace and a king. So no nut flush for us, but at least I hit an ace on one board and I still have 2 pair on the other. So definitely not the worst. So now an under the gun bets $200 and the other player folds on to me.
Definitely interesting spot. Thankfully, he just bet 200, so we just have to be good half of the time for this to be profitable because we're calling the chop. Since if he's betting for value, he's beating us on one board, right? But if we're good on the other, we're calling 200 to win 200. So having two pair on one board and two pair on the other as well, because we've got aces and tens with a queen kicker, I think we're good enough of the time to make it profitable. So I do flick in the call. And thankfully, we see the good news that he has pocket aces for a full house on one board. That gave us a good price, thankfully. So our two pair on the other will be good. And we will chop this one up. That helps out a little bit. Let's move on to 6-5 off, 10-4 off, Jack-6 off, Ace-8 off. Now we got, once again, pocket threes. Low Jack makes it $15. Cut off calls, I call. And a damn small blind 3-bets to 115. Yep, not even going to have a chance to see the flop this time. Just let it go. Next hand, let's play a King 10 off, $15. Button and big blind calls. Flop is very nice, 4, 10, 3. So top pair, King kicker, let's bet. I make it $25 and only the button calls. Turn is a 5. And now out of position against this player. I'm going to pocket her a little bit. This doesn't change too much. But maybe if I check here, he'll try to bluff with his flush draws. We even go for value with worse, so I do check, and indeed he bets $55, and happy calling, that is what I do. River is a 5, I check, he checks back, I show, and he mucks. So at least we're back in the green. Something is something. Move on to Queen 7 off. Now I got pocket 4s and low jack, $15, small blind calls, big blind calls, flop 9, jack, deuce. Checks to me, and yep, let's try to get the showdown. I check back, turn is a queen, checks around, river is a 3, checks around. The both players show ace 3, they both rivered a 3, and I just have a brain fart, and I think they are good, so I muck. But I realize in time, and I grab my cards and flip them over, and thankfully, the rules in this casino is as long as the cards are reachable, they are in play. So thankfully, we flipped them over in time and did not give away $40. And we'll take that down. And that sounds like a good time to call it. So we are in the green. But when you're up over $1,000 and you end up just up 53, it definitely doesn't feel like anything great. It feels like a loss. And especially in a spot that maybe you could have got away if you're being strict. That's all in the past. We can't change it. So let's just rack up, cash out, and talk a little more about the session.
All right, well, definitely not an easy session. Very swingy. Altogether, pretty happy with how I played, except, I'm not sure. I don't want to be results oriented. The ace-queen hand, because I'm pretty sure ace-queen off is mostly 4-bet fold. Early gets early. When I get 3-bet position, but when there's a caller then after in between, that is a little more action. Do I want to turn my ace-queen into a bluff? You know, and do I really fold for $35 and the pot's $150 and there's a caller in between? And then post-flop, I really wanted to fold a river, honestly. Just, I don't know. I mean, I can't, you know. So much going on. I think most part, yeah, you just snap call, it is what it is, but I don't know if he's ever bluffing there, and I don't think he's going for value with worse. Going all in, I think ever, because I do think he's made some, you know, on tighter side checkbacks on the river in a few spots, so I don't think he's ripping it with worse. So it's a bluff on beat, or maybe I'm chopping even ace queen. I don't think he's ripping it with ace queen. So yeah, I don't know. Interesting hand. I don't think it's like a punt or anything. Things are weird. If the other guy would have folded in between, I would have just folded a 4-bet. I wouldn't have called. It's just that the player in between that called kind of made things interesting. I'm not sure. Honestly, those are what makes pre-flop a little different. You know, when there's callers in between, maybe I should even squeeze even more because there's more dead money. But as well, I mean, I talked about this during the vlog, but I hadn't seen him. Second time he 3-bet in the whole day. So I didn't think like nines and all that was in his 3-bet range. I think it was just calling with those. Altogether, did book a win in 2-5. I'm actually down altogether because I played a couple hours at 1-3 at the beginning and I was down 100. So in reality, I'm down $50. So yeah, was up like 900 at a high point, and just things kind of gone downhill from there, and just super card dead. And that's it. That's that. This month has just been kind of like that. There's a lot of break even. I had a few big losing sessions and not that many big winning ones. So yep, not the best month ever. Hopefully these next days goes better, because I am pretty much breaking even for a month that's not the best. Thankfully things have been going good, and now there's sponsorship. I'm making money from that, you know. Thankfully I have money coming from other sources. So even if I'm breaking even playing, I have, you know, money come from other directions. That's amazing. Still not like enough to be, oh, I'm good, I don't have to make money playing. I gotta make money playing, but at least it's not like there's no income. And yeah, sorry, ranted for a while. It is late. I'm gonna go home, get some sleep. And thank you all for watching. As usual, if you could like, comment, and subscribe. Always happy to talk about hands. And I'll see you guys hopefully in 2 weeks.